everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. Just had to slap myself to wake myself up after watching that post-season friendly, and congratulations to Asian All-Stars who have just beat Manchester United 1-0. Not only can Manchester United not score against Premier League sides and can't score in a final to win a trophy, we've now gone all the way to Malaysia to not be able to score against Asian All-Stars and also not be able to win that trophy either. Good news, bad news. Bad news is, this is probably the most embarrassed I have ever been to be a Manchester United fan. If the video of the open bus tour wasn't enough, that game was just, it was shocking. I get that nobody cares. I understand that the players probably aren't up for it, but to not even be able to score a goal in a pre-season, well, post-season friendly against Asian All-Stars is so embarrassing. Like, it's laughable. And also, I think the most embarrassing part is when our goalkeeper went up for the corner at the end to try and get an equaliser. I can't even cope. But the good news is, very highly doubt they're going to invite us back next year for another post-season couple of games. I really highly doubt that they're going to invite us back for another post-season tour, because the money that they've paid us to go, I reckon whoever signed off on that sat there thinking, why on earth have we paid these lot? Why on earth have we paid these lot millions of pounds to come over here and produce that? So, you know what? Amorim said the good times are coming. Wake me up when they start, because it's completely rock bottom right now. But anyway, we're here to bring you the latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and we've got the news coming in on Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, how this affects Mbeumo, with Newcastle sniffing round and hoping to get the deal wrapped up before Manchester United have the funds to get Mbeumo. If that Rashford deal happens early, which he wants it to, could we swoop in on Mbeumo? Omar Berrada gave an interview surrounding the transfer window for Manchester United. We'll bring in some of his quotes. To be honest, I could have come up with a script that was the exact same interview, but we'll go into it and we'll try and pick that apart. And also, we have a little bit of news coming in surrounding some other outgoings as well. So get your comments in, let us know your thoughts, and get chatting away in the comments. It'll be more entertaining, this news show, than that game was, I can promise you that. Honestly, is everyone still awake? Everyone's still, ready to get on with the rest of the day? It was a hard watch, wasn't it? Jem says, we couldn't even win the Giant Sports Direct Cup if we were playing for it. So embarrassing. Do you know what happens? The trophy's on the line and these players can't go up for it. Jonah says, man of the match, the open bus for making us laugh. Vega Bond says, deep down, I think an Anana replacement solves 40% of our issues. And a Højlund replacement. Oh my word. I'm sorry. Rasmus Højlund. The Asian All-Stars number 9 in the first half was better than Rasmus Højlund. I messaged my brother saying, because most Manchester United fans know that we need a new number 9. I messaged my brother about, 15 minutes in. I said, are you watching this? And he said, funnily enough, I have better things to do with my time, but I can already assume that the Asian All-Star number 9 is probably better than Højlund. And I said, you know what, you bang on. You struggle to think how Amorim's going to attack next season if he doesn't get some sort of investment from the transfer team at Manchester United in the summer. You've got Simply Red saying, how many of our players get into the Asian All-Star team? Dan Bateman says, shambles, liquidate the whole club and start again from the very bottom. Rocco of Bolton says, this team would lose to Harlem Globetrotters. Honestly, my other brother, who's 10 or 11, put his Sunday League side up against it. They'd have a good crack. They would have a good crack. And Maliki Francis says, Amorim thinking this team is crap. Well, you can't really be thinking anything else, to be honest with you, can you? You couldn't be thinking anything else at this moment in time. I was thinking at the start of the game, why is he starting certain players and why aren't you literally just playing the kids? And I understand, they paid a lot of money to see Manchester United stars over there in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, but also at the same time, I think Ruben Amorim's waving the white flag and saying, this is what I've got to work with. Please, God, go and get me some signings. And as this game was going on, I was just thinking to myself, with the Mbeumo news and Newcastle looking to close in that deal, and Manchester United being sleeping FC because we're not able to go in for that without selling anybody. We've got loads of players to sell, but we can't move for Mbeumo until we sell them. And we could miss out on him because we haven't got the money to go and attack this window the way that we need to, and it could massively affect Ruben Amorim, because this is the squad he's got to work with going into next season if we don't do anything about it. Plus Cunha. And Cunha's a fantastic signing, but he can't do it all on his own. So let's hope we can move on some of our players. And the first player that could be moved on quite quickly is Marcus Rashford. So let's bring in this bit of news. It came in from multiple sources earlier on that Marcus Rashford could be on his way out of Manchester United. Well, he will be on his way out of Manchester United, but his destination is becoming more likely to be Barcelona. So there was a meeting this morning between Deco and Manchester United's agent. With the Luis Diaz deal proving difficult, Barca are now seriously pushing for Marcus Rashford. So Barcelona want to bring in a new forward player, primarily a left winger. They've looked at Luis Diaz, they've looked at Marcus Rashford. Luis Diaz deal is looking tough. Marcus Rashford really wants to go there. It's starting to heat up. They're planning a loan with an option to buy, and Flick has given it the green light. He's a fan of Marcus Rashford. Manchester United asked for a permanent deal and they want 45 million euros. Absolutely no chance on this earth that Manchester United should be doing a loan with an obligation to buy for Marcus Rashford. Absolutely not. Or an option or whatever. It has to be a permanent sale. Marcus Rashford has to leave for money this summer. There's no ifs and buts about it. He is an academy graduate that is going to leave for pure profit. How that boosts us in the transfer window in terms of PSR and FFP is absolutely massive. And I know Barcelona have had financial issues, but they can afford to go and spend £40 million on Marcus Rashford if they really want him. How much do you want him? Because if you really want him, pay the £40 million. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. He'll do well over there. He's a good option for them. Pay the money. Like, don't try and take advantage of Manchester United on a loan option to buy. We cannot do that deal. It has to be permanent. It also came from Ben Jacobs as well that Manchester United are seeking 40 million, the same as the option to buy, agreed with Aston Villa for Marcus Rashford, and Barcelona retain an interest FC. Rashford is hoping to decide his next club by mid-June. He is keen on Barcelona, as he was in January. So, what I would say on this is I think I can see it going one of two ways. And we've got the dream scenario, and we've got the scenario that's probably more realistic, what we're going to have to deal with. The dream scenario is Manchester United get the negotiating heads on, they go to Barcelona and they say, look, we want to do a deal. Marcus really wants to join Barcelona. You want the player, we want 40 million, let's do it. Marcus Rashford wants his future resolved by mid-June. We go and get 40 million for Marcus Rashford. He's off the books, pure profit, just in time for us to go and swoop in and spend that money on going getting Mbeumo. Because it's been reported by multiple outlets that Manchester United really do want Mbeumo. He's on the list, he's next in line if they can offload some of the other players. Because the other players we've got in that position that don't have a future going into next season, Sancho, we don't know what's going to happen with Chelsea, but a decision is going to be made after the final, which is tonight. Sancho, Anthony, we don't know what's going to happen again. Real Betis can't afford him, but there is interest. But when are we going to get the money in for him? Who knows? And plus, with them two players, it's not the same as with Garnacho, who also is going to go, and Rashford, who are pure profit, which will massively boost FFP and PSR in favour for Manchester United and will allow us to spend more in the summer. Anthony and Sancho, of course we want to sell them, of course we want to get the money in for them as much as we can get, but it won't affect the books the same way a Garnacho or a Rashford will when it literally is pure profit going into our pockets for the window. So the dream scenario is we manage to offload Marcus Rashford mid-June and we get the money in for him, 40 million. Because Romano said it, many top sources have said it, and Mbeumo's right there. We do want to do a deal, but we have to offload and sell one of our other options in that position, and we have already gone for Cunha, who I'm really happy about. So that's the dream scenario. What I actually think might happen is Barcelona will try their luck for a loan obligation to buy. I don't know how many other clubs are going to be interested in Rashford, and I don't think any of them he's going to want to move to over Barcelona if they're in the race. We know it's his dream club. Marcus Rashford might dig his heels in. Barca might dig their heels in, and this might dwindle and dwindle and dwindle until the last couple of weeks of the transfer window, where Manchester United are basically backed into a corner and have to do a cheap deal. That's where it could end up. I don't think if Marcus Rashford had to go down that route just to get a Barcelona move, he might well do that. He doesn't owe the club anything. The club have, told him he's got no future, and he's very, very well aware that he doesn't have a future at Manchester United. That come from Ben Jacobs as well. He might just end up going on the pre-season tour and waiting it out, or not even going on the pre-season tour, training separately from Manchester United and waiting it out to do a deal. And if Barcelona are in communication with him and his agents that they want to wait because they want to get the best possible price, that might end up happening. I think for Marcus Rashford's sake of getting himself embedded into a new team, having a clean slate, having a new chapter, I think it is best for him for this deal to be done as quickly as possible. Can cut ties with Manchester United and can start a new chapter and fully kind of immerse himself into his new club and have the best possible start to next season. Have a pre-season with his new club. So I understand, and it is coming out from his side that he wants to decide his club by mid-June. That's what he wants. But there's deciding your club and then there's signing for your club. He could decide on Barcelona by mid-June, but Barcelona don't manage to strike a deal with Manchester United until August. That could end up being the case. And I think that's more likely because I think Barcelona are going to play hardball, and I think they know that Manchester United are in a situation where they're pretty desperate, and Barcelona know that Marcus Rashford wants them and they can probably manipulate it a little bit. So, look, I hope that this all kind of wraps up in June and we manage to use that money. But if it doesn't, you don't get that. You're not guaranteed that Rashford money until Manchester United. Manchester United might even be about to play the first game of the Premier League before we're guaranteed that Rashford money. And we're not going to spend that money until we know it's guaranteed. And by that time, Mbeumo starting the first game for Newcastle in the Premier League, and you're looking around thinking, how do we spend this money we've got from Rashford? Amrim, who do you want? Well, Cherky's gone to City, Morgan Gibbs-White's gone to City, who we won't even be able to afford anyway and probably wouldn't want to come to us over Nottingham Forest. And Mbuemo, who's our top target, went to Newcastle in June. I don't know. I don't know how I want to spend it, so that's how it could end up. The Garnacho money obviously is another one where we could spend that on Mbeumo, but we don't know who's interested in Garnacho, and he's probably not going to want to rush into anything either. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, but as quick as we can get our sales done and get these players out the door, the better for us in securing our targets. Arch285 says, after what I saw today, I think we have the worst front three. Zero physicality and aggression, only side to side. We badly need Cunha, Mbeumo and Gyökeres. The one thing I would say is our front line massively levels up if you go into next season with Mbeumo, Cunha and Delap, Mbeumo, Cunha and Gyökeres in a dream. I don't think we're getting Gyökeres, but you mentioned him. Or honestly, even Mbeumo, Cunha and Xerxes is a massive improvement than what we've currently got. And I'm not saying we don't need a number 9. We have to go and sign a number 9, a good number 9 as well. But even that front three is way better than what we've been working with. So we've got to go and do it. We've got to go and do the business. But from what Omar Berrada's been saying, Prudent. Does Prudent get you off your seat for Manchester United's transfer window? That's the word that Omar Berrada used to describe how we've got to attack this window. We've got to be prudent. That doesn't sound like Manchester United are going to be massively backing and Ruben Amorim and bolstering his squad. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Losif says, as we've seen before, we can have a great transfer window and the players still don't play well. I hope Amorim can get it right or we are cooked. Josh W, thank you very much for your super chat in there. Graham Sooner says, it's all Pogba's fault. Class of 99 says, the sight of Sekou Kone is the only positive takeaway. Yeah, we've not managed to see Kone all season. He's not really had a minute, has he? He's been in and around the first team squad, but he's not had a minute. But he looked obviously you've got to take into consideration who we're playing, but you also got to take into consideration that a lot of Manchester United first team has played today, and we still, nobody looked good, but Sekou Kone looked good. He looked really good, and I don't want to put too much pressure on him because he's a young kid and it's a post-season game, and obviously as a young player trying to prove yourself, you are going to try the extra little bit harder to get yourself in the manager's viewpoint. But he looked really good. He looked better than literally everybody else on the pitch. He looked tidy. He looked like he had great technical ability. I really like the look of Sekou Kone when he played today. So it's exciting. He is going to go on loan next season. It's looking very likely that he's going to end up going on loan to another Ineos-owned club, I think. Is it, what's the club called that begins with an L? That Ineos own. Yeah, what club is that? It's Swiss-owned, I think. Club. Sounds like lasagna, my producer is saying. Someone got it in the chat? Lasagna? We'll call it lasagna. Lausanne Sport. Lausanne Sport is where it's looking like he's going to go on loan. So hopefully he gets, some good experience over there and then can come back to Manchester United. But honestly, by the looks of him today, he could get straight into Manchester United's first team if we continue playing like that. So that was probably the only positive you could take away, is that some of our youth players look pretty good. I also really liked Thwaite's tackle there at the end, that last-ditch tackle. It was a good tackle. We've got more super chats coming in. Tommy Scar says Højlund couldn't score in a brothel. Helix says, respectfully, when Vietnam's third choice left back sends your 60 million winger for noodles and tea, it's time to re-evaluate. Oh, gosh. I can't cope. I absolutely cannot cope. I can't cope. We have become a laughingstock. Viang Pandi says, at this point, we need to buy some players from the Shaolin soccer team. Football Cartoon says, Asian All-Star showed how to play 3-4-3. Thank you everyone for your super chats coming in and all your comments. Smash a like on the video. I really do appreciate it. Noodles and tea. Oh my God. I could do, honestly, anything over watching that. Anything over watching that. I've also been sent, our graphics guy has sent in a video into our group chat. It's 34 seconds long. Do you want me to watch and react to it live on the stream, or should I watch it after I've done the show with you guys? Because he put in the video, a 34-second video, and I think it's a few United players being interviewed post-game. And it says, the most difficult watch of all time. And Goldberg just replied saying, what have we become? I don't know if you won't be able to hear it, but I'm going to watch it because a lot of you are saying watch it. I mean, it's like someone's writing a script and you just, and they're telling you the story and you think, no, it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. What have you done this time? Oh, listen, this is the next plot twist. I mean, Patrick Dorgu's probably thinking, what have I just signed? What club have I signed for? I mean, poor Patrick Dorgu, Aidan Heaven, Joshua Zirkzee and De Ligt, by the way, they've been the ones that have had to go and do all of these kind of press opportunities. They were the ones that were on that open bus tour. I mean, Joshua Zirkzee looks like he's got a gun held to his head. And that's why he has to be there. Fair play for De Ligt kind of getting involved, but we are just it's commercial. It's all about money. Imagine, right? And again, honestly, everyone who knows me will tell you I'm one of the most positive people you'll meet, but I can't continue to be positive about Manchester United. It feels so negative, but imagine, right, having your worst ever Premier League finish. You've just lost the Europa League final without even putting up a fight to Spurs, who haven't won a trophy in God knows how long. And this is what we're doing. We're singing Glory, Glory, Man United after then not even being able to score a goal against Asian All-Stars in our post-season tour in Malaysia, where we should be resting, recuperating and resetting for next season, but we're actually there to go and earn a bit of extra money. We are turning into a meme, aren't we? Meme Chester United. Do you know what? Someone just said it's like a Black Mirror episode in the chat. It actually is. I don't recognise this football club. I don't recognise it. I really do not recognise it. It's just, I completely understand. That over in Kuala Lumpur, they have spent a lot of money for Manchester United to come and attend a post-season tour. We've just served up an absolute horror show of a performance. The most boring performance you've ever seen. We've not even managed to score a goal for the fans that have paid to go. They're thinking, what on earth have we spent our money on? They've got to do some sort of press opportunities and they've got to give something back. But it just all feels so false. It all feels so fake. It all feels like just a facade. It all feels just... It doesn't sit right. Like, interviews and media in football are there, and that's part of our job, and I think it gives us great insight into a team. And if you ask the right questions and you do good journalistic work, it's always going to be a good thing. I think in football it can be a good thing, but stuff like that, it's for nothing but money. And it's just, oh gosh, I can't even. I'm trying to wrap it up, but there's nothing I can say apart from it's embarrassing. It's totally embarrassing. City fans, Liverpool fans, they have the right to absolutely laugh their heads off at us, and that's exactly what they're going to do, isn't it? Anyway, I get it. Win or lose, you've got to kind of have a mix zone. You've got to have interviews, and this is what football is. But that stage sort of stuff, it just doesn't sit right, does it? Gulina Peter says, at this rate, my random pub team can beat Manchester United. Secondly, fans in Malaysia sent a better message by emptying the stadium, a thing England fans can't do. Adrian says, Ineos's Nice and Lausanne are up for sale. Opinions? I mean, it's a completely different kettle of fish to Manchester United, isn't it? SK says, we are commercial FC, but I have to say it's player wages that have skyrocketed and outpaced club income. Players, clubs and agents are all part of the system. And there's a few people in the chat saying, look, it's just a friendly, no one's bothered, but still just, have a bit of pride. Have a bit of pride when, you're playing in a Manchester United shirt, and just have a bit of pride. Harry Sinclair says, hey Beth, I don't understand people wanting players to fail on loan. It's like you want your car to break down when someone is test driving it. Also, in my opinion, at least 8 teams have better squads than us. At least 8 teams have better squad than us. More than that, Harry. More than that. More than 8 teams in the Premier League currently have better squads than Manchester United. And speaking of loan players doing really well, I would absolutely love for Anthony to score the winner in the Conference League final tonight. I'd love it. Please. We have to get money in for these players if we want to rebuild for Ruben Amorim. I completely agree with you on that point. Losif33 says, as we've seen before, we can have a great transfer window. I've done that one. Faith says, go try and run in Malaysia for 10 minutes and post the results. To be honest with you, actually, you know what? I'm not even going to bite on that one. I understand that the weather is humid. I understand that it's hot. but we're talking about professional athletes. And we also made about, 20 substitutes, potentially even more. I understand the weather conditions, but we're talking about professional athletes right now. We should be able to still go out there and play. Rizzo9411 says, going to charge us 8 million for this. Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? But they agreed to pay the money for us to go there. I don't think they'll be paying us again. But anyway, let's get back to the transfer news. We've spoken about Rashford. Want to give a little bit of an update on Mbeumo. Manchester United really want Mbuemo, that is no secret, but we have to offload before buying him. And this is what came out from the Telegraph. Newcastle are ready to make a bid for Bryan and Mbuemo. Manchester United have also expressed interest in Mbeumo, but are currently focused on signing Matheus Cunha. If Newcastle can move swiftly and agree a price with Brentford, they should be in pole position. And then it also came out from Muppeteers that United maintain a strong interest in Mbeumo, but are presently behind in the race for him, primarily to Newcastle. The player is leaning in that direction as they are present and more prepared to make an attractive offer with Champions League on the table. United need to understand the final decision of Delap and resolve the striker situation and or make sales to press ahead further. So, like I said, we want Mbeumo, but we're too busy sleeping on that deal to move quickly on him. And if Newcastle move quickly, they'll sign him, basically. And it makes me so frustrated. I cannot even tell you. It's ridiculous that we can't even risk one signing before selling. We're going to sell at least one of them, and we can't even risk it. And I won't go on about it again, because you all know how I feel about Mbeumo. It just levels us up massively. The physicality, the work rate, the talent, the dribbling. I mean, we're going to lose Garnacho, and Garnacho, can't finish his dinner, and his final end product is poor. But what he does do is make good runs and get in good positions, and that's something that we do lack in our front line. Mbuemo makes amazing runs and also gets himself in good positions, but also has the final end product, has the strength, has the dribbling ability. It's everything we need. And if we sit back and watch him go to Newcastle, I'll be absolutely gutted. I'll be absolutely gutted. It just feels like I'm going to have to sit here and watch rivals go and sign the players I want to sign. And people will say in the comments, Beth, but you're signing Cunha. Don't be greedy, you're signing Cunha. I'm buzzing about signing Cunha, but it's not enough. Manchester United's goal difference in the Premier League is a tragedy. We scored 44 goals in the Premier League this season. We failed to score against Asian All-Stars. No disrespect. We failed to score against Asian All-Stars. And Cunha's not going to complete... Cunha is like putting a plaster on a massive open wound. It'll do something for maybe a few seconds, but you need more. You need to fully, sew it up. And as much as Cunha will make a difference, and I think he's going to be really good, we need more than that, 100%. And Amorim, I think Amorim today, starting Højlund, I genuinely think it's him kind of showing Berrada, who's there watching, look, mate, I'm going to need a bit more. I really am going to need a bit more, and we need to get cracking in this transfer window. Also, if Inter Milan genuinely are in the race for Højlund, like we reported on the show yesterday, it was coming out that Inzaghi is, approved the transfer, and the fans of him from his time in Italy of Atalanta, and they believe they can get the best out of him despite his poor spell at United. If they genuinely are Italian clubs willing to go in for Rasmus Højlund, get on that straight away. Get on the first flight over to Italy and start negotiating, because if we can get anything back for him, that we need to get onto that in this transfer window as well. Harry I'm going to bring in some Berrada quotes in a second. Harry Sinclair says, what are the odds on us playing midweek friendlies next season? AC Milan, maybe in places like USA, Abu Dhabi and Asia. It's the way football's going. A lot of it is based on money. I won't be surprised. I mean, we're only playing one game a week. It depends how far we get in the cups, in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup maybe. I mean, I would be really frustrated that, like, don't get me wrong, I wish we were in Champions League, I wish we were in Europa League, wouldn't want conference. But if we're not in them competitions, the bonus side is you get all week to work on the training ground and to prepare for the Premier League games. Each Premier League game becomes like a cup final because it's the only competition you're really playing for. And that's the kind of benefit of not being in them competitions. The silver lining, not the benefit, the silver lining. So if we take away that one silver lining we get by playing friendlies on other side of the world, I will be really, really frustrated because we need to focus on winning important competitions, not playing for money. Ivan says, Tuss, go on holiday. Only Cunha and Delap will happen. No good player wants dead United. Anything above 15th will be seen as improvement next season. I mean, Delap might not even happen. He's not made his final decision yet. He might choose Chelsea. Daniel Lambo says, this is why I'm so scared of getting relegated. I don't think we will make it back up in a season. Also, I don't think we'll get relegated. The gap between the Championship and the Prem is too much. The 3 teams that have come up from the Championship will probably go back down. If Leeds put together a good transfer window, which I don't like to say, Leeds obviously rivals, they have a chance at staying up maybe. I think they have a chance. But I don't think United will get relegated. Clip that up. I don't think we will. What was I going to say then? I can't remember what I was going to say, but I had something to say. It will come back to me. Oh yeah, this is what I was going to say. Did you see Bruno, by the way, when the Asian All-Stars scored that goal? He was basically laughing. I bet he was thinking, what on earth? What on earth am I doing? That might be the final nail in the coffin to him to ring up Al Hilal and say, look, I'll take the money. Martin Rasmussen says, we've hit the stands, we've lost the ball, we're Man United and we can't score at all. Ole, ole, ole. Hardwell says, this is just a chapter, not the whole story. We'll rise again, even better than before. I hope so, and I like your positive thinking on that one. And we will rise again. This isn't going to be forever. But every season, like, it just feels like surely next year is when we're going to start to rise again, and then it gets worse. I hope Amrin was right and that good times are coming, and I hope they need to come pretty quickly. Mick Elvis says, we need to start accepting that this club might never come back. No club is too big to fail, and this is starting to feel terminal. Glenn Stubbs says, people seriously getting embarrassed by a meaningless friendly. The players were forcibly made to partake unwillingly just so the Glazers can gain cash. Have some pride, Glenn. Have some pride. Yes, I am embarrassed. I am embarrassed that we're doing open top bus tours and singing Glory United after losing 1-0, to Asian All-Stars. It might be a friendly, but you're wearing the Manchester United shirt, and we've just had the worst ever season that we've had in the Premier League, and we're just milking ourselves for money. I am embarrassed. Yes, I am. I am embarrassed of us right now as a United fan. But thank you everyone for your super chats in. Harry Sinclair says, I'd be straight in for Joe Bellingham. And SK says, Arsenal dropped out of competitions when they were building. If you remember, gave them 1 game a week. It's terrible for cash, but might be what we need to get some chemistry. I suppose that's a good point. Arsenal did only have 1 game a week when they started building towards a rebuild. Trying to look at it with a glass half full attitude. That is the one thing I've been thinking about next season is if we don't make something of the Premier League, our season will be over so quickly, and it will literally be like a cup final every week. There'll be no travelling in and out of Europe. It'll be all eyes on that game, and if we get some good signings in, maybe we can start to build together. And after watching that, it seems so unlikely, but you've got to look at it in the grand scheme of things. We need to get some good signings in and give Amram some time with his team in a proper pre-season. But before that, they need a proper break. They need to switch off. They need a reset. They need a rest, and they need to come back with a complete clean slate. The ones that do have a future at United. Anyway, let me get some of these Berrada quotes in just to kind of finish off the show. Thank you everyone for watching, by the way. I really do appreciate you tuning in and getting involved, because I mean, I needed some people to chat to after watching that, let's put it that way. Omar Berrada, in his interview, I mean, I was watching the Goldbridge watch along and he sort of reacted to it. I'm gonna be honest, everyone. the Berrada interview, it's not exactly got groundbreaking scoops in it, to put it bluntly. You could have said, Beth, pretend you're the CEO of Manchester United and we'll do an improv interview. And I could have said the exact same thing. Like, it was nothing really insightful into what we're going to do in the transfer window, to be honest with you. It was just what you'd expect from answers that are probably pre-thought out and put together for as little exposure as possible, in terms of as little reaction to that as possible. And because they don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but they also don't want to put a message out that we're not really going to be doing anything in the transfer window and frustrate the fan base and cause a backlash. So anyway, this is what he said. He said, "We are undergoing a transformation on and off the pitch, and we had to make some tough decisions to get this club to the best place possible for the future. The fans have been very patient and supportive, and I have to say thank you." The more tough decisions you have to make is getting rid of some players that maybe are on contracts that are going to be difficult to move out. That's the next port of call. That's me responding to Berrada. He didn't say that. He said on the transfer window, "We have been planning for many months now for any situation. We have to say thank you to the fans and of course the owners for being supportive during this transition." Why is the quote not on our X about being prudent? Because I watched the interview live and I remember that word prudent. But it's not in the quotes, which is really annoying because I can't read it out. Let me see if I can find it on Twitter. I mean, it's not gonna change anything really to get the full quote, but I want to try and get it. I can't talk about specific names, but we've been planning for many months, considering different scenarios. We're clear about where to invest. We'll execute the plan. We're still suffering from the defeat in the Europa League final. We all wanted this trophy, but the players, the coach, the staff are all working well and are committed to preparing for next season. I can't find the prudent quote anywhere, but basically I found it interesting that, from what I can recall from the interview, because I can't find the quote, is Berrada basically said that Manchester United have to be positive in the transfer window, but they also have to be prudent because of the situation that they're in. And to me, that sounds like we aren't going to spend a lot of money unless we have some really good sales and some good outgoings that we get together. And as we know, outgoings usually take Manchester United a little bit of time to do. Like, even last summer with our outgoings, Wan-Bissaka didn't happen till later than we expected. McTominay didn't happen till later than we expected. Outgoings always seem really tough for us to negotiate and get over the line. And if you look at the definition of prudent in the dictionary, acting with or showing care and thought for the future. And to that, I feel like he means financial thought for the future. We can't overspend, and we've got to be careful in terms of where we spend. And I understand that we are in a lot of debt financially with the loss of the Europa League final. We are completely up against it. We are skint. We are broke. However way you want to dress it up. But how do you fix this? Because there is a way to fix this, and this is how I will be judging Manchester United's recruitment team and their transfer team behind the scenes. You fix it by being ruthless with your outgoings and getting them done straight away. Sancho, get it resolved. Anthony, we're not waiting around or getting mixed up in negotiations with Real Betis for a loan. No, you either buy him or you don't. You buy him or leave the chat. Thank you very much for a good loan spell, but see you later. We're not a charity. Marcus Rashford, are you going to Barcelona? Do you want to go to Barcelona? Get him to pay for you then. It's 40 million. Do you think you're worth 40 million? Yeah, I think I am. Well, let's get Barcelona to pay up then. If not, we're going to have to look at other clubs. I know it's not as easy as that, but there is ways to manoeuvre in this transfer window. Garnacho, Chelsea were interested in you, Napoli were interested in you. You need to find yourself a club, because you're not going to go on the tour if you don't find yourself a club. And that sounds harsh, but sometimes you've got to do certain things to make players wake up, smell the coffee, and get their agents on the case working on a deal for them. I remember when Conte came into Spurs, and he said straight away, and Conte's a fantastic manager, he's just won the league with Napoli. He said straight away to certain players, you don't have a future. Go and find yourself a club. And when you tell players that, it might be really, really harsh. And I've seen a lot of people saying about the Garnacho quote, you better pray that you find a club. Was it harsh? I personally think if Amorim's gone that far into it, Garnacho might have been mouthing off to him. I don't know. And I was speaking to my dad about it, actually. My dad said, do you think that's a bit harsh, to say to a young kid? And it probably is. But sometimes you've got to be harsh on these players so they get on the phone to their agents and say, listen, you need to get me out of here. I don't want to play under this manager anymore. The manager doesn't want me. You need to get me out of here. If you're all nicey, maybe you will get some minutes, but I can't guarantee it. Oh, yeah, we'll try and find you the club that suits you. It all ends up going until the end of the window, and that doesn't benefit us in terms of getting money in to get the players in that we want and need. So we've got to be harsh and we've got to be ruthless, and that comes down to everything at the club, including the players that we've got, including the squad that we've got, because this season is just unacceptable, and clearly Amorim needs help. Tyrone B says, starting to really hate this ownership and the club. Barry says, we are cooking, we are cooked. I'm not saying that full name, Barry. You won't get me this time. Harry Sinclair says, yes, Beth, but if he comes out and says we are budgeting 400 million once we include player sales, then straight away everyone's price goes up. He can't get stuff away. Yeah, I understand that. Of course, you've got to be cautious in what you say. As coming out of Manchester United as the CEO, I get that. But I'm just saying, as fans, we didn't really get much insight, did we? We've also got another chat in saying, hey Beth, hope you're well. Again, you're not going to catch me out with a name. Lewis Albron says, Sir Jim and the Glazers got in bed. Sir Jim and the Glazers don't use their head when we see... He's got a rhyme going on in the chat. Might catch on that chant, Lewis. SK says, I've done that one. Thank you everyone for your super chats. Look guys, smash a like on the video. Thank you so much for watching. This ended up being like a little rant. A big rant, really, and we've got to be brutal. There is no time for Manchester United to continue to be cautious and continue to be sensitive and continue to be a charity case. We've got to be brutal. We've got to get a squad together that is capable of competing for Ruben Amorim next season. And not only have we got to do that, Ruben Amorim has got to get his head down and really start to fix things in pre-season, because I know our squad's bad, but he also, as manager, needs to be doing better. Both things are true, and everyone's got to be held accountable. And I know we've got a game on Friday. We never know. Bruno Fernandes, apparently, I did speak to Ben Jacobs as well. Just a little thing before I leave. I spoke to Ben Jacobs earlier. He's going to come on the show at some point, but I was speaking to him and he said, to his knowledge, Al Hilal have put the deadline on Bruno on Thursday, and he's been given until tomorrow, Thursday tomorrow, to tell them yes or no. So we should expect clarity soon. When we play our next friendly, Bruno Fernandes might have chosen to move to Saudi. We don't know yet. So that's one to keep an eye on within the next 24 hours. That's one that would bring us a lot of money. But at what cost? You're losing your best player. You've got to reinvest it. Look, guys, smash a like on the video. Let me know all your thoughts down below. Thank you for all your super chats. Thank you for being such an amazing community. We will get through this together. And as Ruben Amorim said, hopefully the good times are coming. But you better, as Goldbridge says, you better get on your hands and knees and pray, because this football club needs it. Thank you very much, everybody. And we'll see you on the next one.